We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Far-left protests erupt around the country. Hezbollah escalates the war in Israel. Bad news for Kamala Harris, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Pro-Hamas protesters vandalized the homes of Brooklyn Museum director Ann Pasternak and several Jewish board members in what local elected officials are calling an act of vile anti-Semitism. Vandals defaced the front of the homes with red paint and also painted inverted red triangles on the doors, which Jewish advocate Aviva Klampas claims are a symbol used by terrorists to mark targets they want to take out. This follows the vandalism by pro-Hamas protesters in Washington, D.C., where a Parks Department police officer was assaulted by Hamas supporters. The House voted to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress on Wednesday, referring the top DOJ official for criminal charges. The measure passed nearly along party lines in a 216 to 207 vote. Lawmakers aimed to hold Garland in contempt over his refusal to turn over audio recordings of special counsel Robert Hur's interview with President Biden. Hur concluded that while Biden did wrongly remove classified documents, it would be difficult to convince a jury that he had the mental capacity to be found guilty. The transcript of the interview has been released, but White House officials have admitted they edited the transcript. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Wednesday refused to rule out President Biden commuting whatever sentence his son Hunter receives after he was found guilty Tuesday in a criminal trial focused on his purchase of a handgun in 2018. Jean-Pierre, responding to a reporter asking whether a commutation of Hunter's sentence is something that would be on the table, said she hasn't spoken to President Biden since the announcement of the verdict and that sentencing hasn't even been scheduled yet. Hezbollah launched 215 rockets and several more missiles and drones at northern Israel on Wednesday in what it said was a response to the killing of a senior commander in the terror group by an Israeli airstrike a night earlier. The barrages marked the largest attack carried out by Hezbollah during ongoing fighting on the Lebanon border amid the war in the Gaza Strip. The terror group vowed to ramp up its attacks in retaliation for Israel's elimination of top commander Taleb Abdullah. At a funeral procession in Beirut, senior Hezbollah official Hashem Safedin said the group would increase the intensity, force, and quantity of its operations against Israel. With voter concern about President Joe Biden's age haunting his chances of re-election, a new poll shows his next in line, Vice President Kamala Harris, facing serious doubts about her ability to win the presidency herself, or to perform the job well were she to inherit it. The Politico Morning Consult poll reveals that only a third of voters think it's likely Harris would win an election were she to become the Democratic nominee, and just 3 of 5 Democrats believe she would prevail. A quarter of independents think she would win. Several arrests were made at the congressional baseball game for charity Wednesday night after people in attendance who appeared to be protesters of climate change stormed the field at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The game, which raises money for local charities in the D.C. area, features Democrats and Republicans from the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. Climate change protesters chanted while holding signs that said, "Stop playing games with our future," and they wore shirts that said, "End fossil fuels," before entering the field. A group known as Climate Defiance took credit for the display in a tweet on X. Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas lost a legal battle Wednesday challenging an effective ban on biological males competing in the highest level of women's swimming. dashing his hopes of making the Summer Olympics in Paris next month. 3 judges on the Court of Arbitration for Sport dismissed Thomas's request for arbitration with the World Aquatics governing body. Under rules established in 2022, World Aquatics banned transgender women who have been through male puberty from competing in women's races. It also created an open category for which transgender athletes would be eligible, but no transgender athletes signed up for the open category. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.